Events in the Middle East are at the forefront of many of our minds after the despicable terrorist attack on October the 7th. The pain of the Jewish community around the world and the intense human suffering we are seeing in Gaza at the moment is unbearable. Israeli hostages held in what must be terrifying conditions, Palestinian civilians, families and children, people who have got nothing to do with the terrorists of Hamas, killed in their own homes. The international community must work night and day to stop the hostilities and get desperately needed aid, food, water, medicines and fuel into Gaza immediately, and call loudly and clearly for the release of all hostages. We must also ensure that international law is upheld, particularly with regard to the principle of proportionality and also the very serious issues of forcible transfer and the taking of precautionary measures when it comes to protecting civilians. The actions of Hamas on the 7th of October are to be fully condemned, but the suffering of thousands of innocent civilians, many of whom were not even born when this conflict began, cannot be seen as collateral damage. As the leader of the opposition said last week, we absolutely defend Israel's right to protect itself as a sovereign state, but that is not a blank cheque. And as hard as it feels, we must also stay resolute in the hope that there can be a prospect of a lasting peace in the future. And I, for one, will work with colleagues and friends across the House, Jewish, Muslim, Christian, or like me of no particular faith, to do everything I can to make the all too distant vision of a two-state solution more than just words repeated periodically in this place to make us all feel better, but an actual reality for Israelis and Palestinians alike, because they have been let down for far too long. But it takes hard diplomacy and a government willing to bring people together, de-escalate tensions and provide the leadership and roadmap to discussions and a political settlement. And the government's Economic Activity of Public Bodies Bill that will be carried over into this session of Parliament does nothing to help that situation. It is a badly drafted piece of legislation. It is unworkable, it restricts councils and other public bodies from taking ethical investment and procurement decisions, and it singles out individual countries for different treatment. This cannot be the basis of a foreign policy that seeks to heal divisions and unite people, especially when the stakes are so high. So in light of recent events, I really hope the government will reconsider their approach to this divisive bill.